Well, unemployment or joblessness looms, and it dangles as well employment for some. Looks like a swap. But anyway, joining us to look at the federal government House of Face-Off this morning is the chairman of the UNILAG branch of the Academic Staff Union of Universities, Dr. Karo Ogbinaka. Good morning and thanks for joining us. Well, congratulations. The big news making the front page. This is the Nigerian Tribune this morning. UNILAG faction backs FG. So how soon are you going back to classroom? December 4th, right?
I am the chairman of UNILAG. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
And there's no faction in UNILAG. I can assure you of that. And it's unfortunate Tribune have gone that way.
I'm trying to look at the date of this paper, perhaps, and maybe we're using that old newspaper. This is Friday, 29th.
Yeah.
Front page.
You know, when we went for this NEC meeting, Dr. Daramola and Dr. Ogbedi, they decided to summon a congress of their own. Unfortunately for them, I was in that congress. Dr. Daramola was booed out of the congress, and he has fizzled out.
Dr. Daramola, the one in the mass communication department?
Dr. Daramola in Dr. Adeyemi Daramola, English department.
English.
Yeah. And we told them at that congress that they have a design to carry out a press conference. He denied it at the congress. But in the evening, we saw him AIT, NTA, Prime Time, and Front Page Tribune. We had a congress yesterday too, and they were not there. UNILAG is still solidly one. Well, you can always expect a Judas in the pack. But I'm telling you, a two-man group cannot make a fashion in UNILAG. I can tell you on that. You can send your men on ground. And yesterday, Professor Saran was here.
But you know the risk in all of this, because for the first time we're getting to see the federal government speak with so much bite, and they're saying, well, December 4, and that's just next week.
This is not the first time. Gowon did it in the past, and we knew what we reaped from it. Interestingly, December 4th is the date we were going to bury Festus Iyayi. And we want to ask Wike why he decided to choose that date.
Did he know about the burial?
I want to know, because Iyayi was killed by the governor of Kogi's convoy. If Wike, another agent of the government, is choosing that same date to sack every lecturer, we want to know the coincidence. You see, when the former minister of education, Professor Rukai, was removed from office, she made a statement that I will be going back to my classroom. If Wike is removed today, perhaps he will be stranded in politics. He is the least qualified minister of education Nigeria have ever had in recent time.
I think it looks like we're leaving the issue because, and actually, how do you call that in philosophy? You leave the issue and now you're attacking his person now. Well, perhaps let's talk about what he has said. He said there's an agreement.
Yes.
And that long meeting with the president actually came with a result. And the result was that your union promised to go back. How come when you promised, at the end of the day, they were waiting for you to reopen the schools, what they're getting is something quite different from what you placed on the table?
When our president came out, he was very clear that I have a message for my members. Does that amount to ASU promising to come back? And two, TUC was in that meeting, NSC was in the meeting. And the first step to put a stamp of sincerity will have been to capture the minutes of that meeting properly. The government never implemented that. That is just capturing what was agreed upon. I think the best party to call into this thing is actually TUC and NLC. That was not captured.
But there was no minutes to your meeting.
There was minutes. We had our own records. Government had their own record. The basis of which you wrote us a letter, and we told them the following things are missing. Go and put them and we'll call off the strike.
Is that the letter you sent back to government?
Of course. We sent the letter back to government, and in Wike's idea those were outrageous demand.
Hold on. The picture painted out there is that when you had that 13-hour meeting,
Yeah.
that you did not put these fresh demands in quote.
There were
on the
never
table.
any fresh demand. Look, that's the letter and the meeting. They were within the ambience of the agreement. Nothing outside the agreement was there. But what actually happened? Instead of 400 billion, the government said, okay, we can afford 200 billion. But there is one thing we must make very clear. Why is it that each time it comes to implementation, government is always having this problem? They wrote the MOU of 2012. When it came to implementation, we had problem. Now this is a new one. And they said they are going to release 200 billion in 2013. This is 2013. We only have few weeks to go. Let them release the money. Now, non-victimization clause is part of the 2009 agreement. It was part of the former MOU. Why was it not captured? So, you see, we have a situation where the government, with people like Wike, is being made to bear the burden of insincerity. And I think that is where the president should look at things from.
Mr. Bunaka, you've been on strike for 4 months plus.
Oh, yeah?
And when you went into lecturing, you went in there because of passion to pass on knowledge. In these 4 months, your students have been sitting at home. As some have said, some have gone into bad ways, some have died, whatever. Some things have happened to the students. How is ASUU feeling about all of this?
Do you appreciate the fact that some things have happened to lecturers? Did Yayi die because of lecturing at Unibe, not because he was traveling? You see, any student that is bad is bad. That's the truth. We have a lot of unemployed Nigerians out there, even much more than students. Are they into bad things? Why is it that it's only when they are students that ASUU strike will make them to be bad? Again, too, who is the real victim of this system? Tomorrow when I graduate out the students, they will tell me they are half-baked.
But when they be happy, consider the
So I should continue with that
4 months.
I should continue with that. Losing 4 months will not make somebody half-baked. Putting somebody consistently in a system that is bad will make that person ultimately a victim of a bad educational system. It is better to pause and get it right and get the person right.
But do you think some of your members have actually been compromised? Because the way it has suddenly changed, and we're getting to hear different vibe, whether we like it or not, with this new news we're getting on the front page,
compromised,
especially in your school and in some other schools that have also said they will all go back to the classrooms.
You know, this is a struggle of principle and integrity, and I want to make it very clear that we are aware that money has been pumped into various campuses so that we can have publications like this. We are going to call a word press conference on Monday, and we want
the Unilag chapter.
Yes, and we want the world to come and see the type of things some papers could publish.